Hello, this is a free call from
Hey, it's Gypsy.
An offender at the Chillicothe Correctional Center.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. If you would like to, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hi.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard,
I know.
in the flesh.
Hi.
How are you?
I am doing all right. I am so ready for next year. I cannot believe it has been this long already.
I know. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same. Oh my God, like it's been a crazy roller coaster ride of emotions these last 2 years, but
Yeah.
I am just ready to tackle on what life has to offer me. And like I said, I think that I may have jumped the gun on making a pretty big life decision, and I'm trying to backtrack while I'm still in control of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Christy and I talked about that. Well, I mean, so I'm assuming that you're calling because you're wanting my thoughts on life. And
Well,
and if you
thoughts on life and maybe some help trying to, figure out what I'm looking at here.
well, and even if you didn't call for my thoughts on life, you're going to get them anyway. So
I know, I expected as much.
okay. So as far as what you're looking at, I'll preface everything with I don't do divorce law, so I have no idea. I mean, regardless, you were married for like 4 months. You you don't own anything. He doesn't own anything. So, it's a pretty simple and straightforward process.
Okay.
So, as far as an annulment, I have no idea how that works. I don't know anybody who's ever had an annulment, so I'm not sure what that looks like in Missouri, if it's even possible. So, but a divorce, as long as he is in agreement, it should be extremely simple.
Yeah, I think that where we're at right now is he's a wonderful person. We've been communicating for a little over 2 years, and he's been my best friend. And I think that as time got closer, I realized that like I wanted to start a life on my own, and things were pretty serious between him and I. So we essentially got married because it was beneficial to me home planning to him. And
Right.
so it wasn't so much, we want to spend the rest of our lives together. It was more of like it would be beneficial if we did it now. And that was the wrong choice because it's like I find myself looking back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting out in a year. And there's so much I want to do and there's so many things that I want to experience that I kind of feel like I don't want to have to be responsible for another person's feelings, emotions, anything like that. Like if I want to do something, if I want to go hang out with my sister at the club, whatever it be, like I don't want to feel like, oh, well, does he feel neglected? Would he have a problem with it? I don't want to be tied down right now. That's
Right.
how I felt like 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago, I was really, really torn, and I had cold feet so many times. It's like my gut was telling me, don't do this, don't do this. And it was like I was walking in water, and I'd look back, and I'm like, well, I'm too deep in now, so just keep going.
Sure.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, we get it, Securus. You have to explain why you're charging so much damn money. Thank you. Okay, so here is my thoughts on life. And, I told Christy this exact same thing. So, in my opinion, your best option is to go to your dad and Christy's for at least the first 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And I know that is not necessarily what you want.
That's actually
but
exactly what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here's the reason why. You are going to be experiencing something you've never experienced before, and I know you have learned independence in the prison system, which is a bit of an oxymoron, but in this case, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are released back into the community, it is going to be overwhelming. For the simple fact that you're going to be doing things for the first time that the average person has done 1,000 times and you've never done on your own. And that's the first part of it, and really not the part that worries me the most. The part that worries me the most is that there are going to be a lot of people who want something from you. And those people are going to be around the periphery trying to get to you. And you actually have something very beneficial that they live in a very, very tight community where outsiders don't generally come very often. And so nobody can get to you without somebody seeing it.
Right.
And I say that, again, it's it's sort of an oxymoron in your situation, because part of what got us here is that you were never allowed to just do what you wanted. But this is, again, you don't want to wade out into the pool and get too deep before you learn how to swim.
Right.
So, and also, I agree too. You have your siblings who you'll get to do things that people your age get to do, but you'll get to do it with people who are going to make sure that nothing happens to you.
Yeah. Like my sister and my brother, of course, they're going to make sure that I am safe, and so will Dad and Chrissy. Like, they've never steered me wrong, and I keep trying to explain that to Ryan. Ryan is a very positive person, and he's like, well, what is it that you can't, I guess, do that you can't do with me? And I don't want to be mean and be like, well, I want to go out and, like, have dates and kind of play the field a little bit on things. I want to go out. I want to do the things that I wasn't able to do in my 20s. I'm going to be essentially doing it later in life, but he wants to have kids now, and I'm not ready. God, I'm not ready for kids. So it's just like, I think that he is a wonderful person, and maybe later on in life, but I think that right now it's just not the best timing. And it's like you kind of like, you always want that dream of that, like, white picket fence life, the average American dream. But I kept holding myself to standards of, a 31-year-old. What is a 31-year-old doing in her life right now? And the majority, like, get married, have kids, right? Well, because I was holding myself to normal standards, and my life is not normal. And so I really just kind of honestly figured that out now.
Yeah. No, that's kind of my point is that you aren't the average 31-year-old. And so they're, for example, putting gas in a car. Or going and paying a bill. And it's, I don't know, it's complicated. So and I guess here's my question about this guy. Because, again, doing what I do, I see all manner of people. And so how did he end up contacting you the first time?
Same way I meet everybody. Same way I meet every friend, every relationship that I've had while in prison. They all write me after seeing the documentary. And so he wrote me, and I got a letter, and he was explaining that, he he doesn't have any kids of his own, but he practically raises his 13-year-old nephew because his brother's been in and out of prison and jail. And so he lives with his mother to help with Noah. They raise Noah together. And so I'm like, well, I read the, return address, and I'm like, oh my God, somebody from Louisiana. That's cool. Yeah, I'm going to write this person. And so we started writing back and forth, and it's just like he makes me laugh, and he has a really kind soul that is very attentive to my emotional needs, and we got really emotionally close. And so he's never asked anything of me. He's never tried to exploit me in any way. I asked him to be a part of the documentary because covering my life. So it's just, I think that I had made this big decision, and I guess I didn't weigh out that, oh my God, I'm going to be getting out, and what is life going to be like in a year? And I'm already in a different headspace than I was a year ago. And so it's not that I want to get out and be unruly in a way that is a dangerous way, but it's just I don't want to have to be responsible for someone else right now.
Sure.
I can barely be responsible for myself, much less somebody else.
Well, and I think that is a very mature way of looking at it, is because you're right. He's going to be emotionally tied to the decisions you make, and what you want for yourself and what he wants for you are not necessarily aligned at this point. And that's
right.
It's interesting because, I went away to college, quote unquote, and my brother didn't. And my brother, lived, he got married when he was 18, 19 years old. And then he got divorced. And after he got divorced, he was crazy for a while. And it's interesting because, I think that because I went away to college and did all of that stuff on my own, that, he wasn't alone until he was in his mid-30s, and that was kind of his college years. Right. So I think I think that that's a good way of looking at it is, you need to figure out what kind of lifestyle you want to live, because what everybody else says, oh, this is the way you're supposed to do it. Well, I can tell you at 42, figure out how you think life is, because everybody else's idea of life, it turns out most of the people that you're going to meet are fucking miserable. They're not happy. But they'll tell you this is how marriages work. Well, yours doesn't look to be working so well.
That is exactly all anyone has done in the last 7.5 years. That's all anybody's ever done to me is, oh, well, this is what you're going to want. No, this is what you're going to want. This is how you should live your life. And I'm like, guys, for somebody that preaches to me, oh, don't let anyone tell you what to do like your mom used to, you guys sure are taking a page out of her book. You sure know what to do.
No, that's the thing is, my position in this, as far as your short-term release plan, it's about safety. That's it. It is purely about safety and you having options in the short term, because you have a lot of shit to figure out, a lot. And I mean just basic living things that you have to learn. Like I said, paying bills. Where do you go for this? Where do you go for that? Who do I talk to? All that kind of stuff. And as you can tell, there's a lot of people who are very interested in making your acquaintance, and not all of them are wanting what's best for you.
Right.
So for the short term, Christy and Rod and your brother and sister and your cousins and basically everybody that lives in that area, they all know everybody who shouldn't be around. So, but that gives you an environment where you can move around freely, but you don't have to always be looking over your shoulder all the time. So, which will be good, because you need some you need some time to just be comfortable, like not have to worry about everybody you meet trying to take advantage of you. I mean, you're in prison, so that's
essentially, in a sense, like you said, it's a very close community. I think my dad was getting his hair cut one day, and the girl that was cutting his hair is like, "You look so familiar," and he's like, "Yeah, you know." And then she pegged where she had seen him, and she's like, "You're Gypsy's dad." And he's like, "Yeah," and he was talking to her about me wanting to work at a salon, and like by this time I thought that I would have gotten into cosmetology classes here, but COVID happened. COVID threw off so much shit. Like I was supposed to get in college classes while I was here. I passed my GED last year.
Excellent.
And so
Good
I
job.
wanted to do some college classes, and then like COVID completely wiped everything off the map. And so it's just like stagnant right now. I signed back up for the college courses, and then they tell me I won't be able to get until the spring. And so I'm like, well, by then I won't even have enough time to get my associates. So I'll just get it out there. I'll just look into it out there. So it just kind of threw off some things. But I think in the grand picture of things, I'm exactly where I had hoped to be. Not really married, but with the plans with living with mom and dad, you know. And I was even telling my dad, because he's been very supportive. I think, you know, he met Ryan. He talked to Ryan for like 5 hours on the front porch. And my dad loves Ryan. I think that he wanted us to wait until I got out to get married, obviously. So it's not like they're just letting me completely have free reign of my life. They are kind of watching, but also not overstepping. And I think I've always been that way. Like, you remember, I'm always that kind of person that fucks up and then learns from it after. Because I have to fuck up in order to learn from it. I'm just that type of person.
Well, and that,
you know,
that's human nature too. I mean, we learn the best from mistakes. So trust me, I have as well. So.
But I am going home to my parents, and I told my dad, I said, how about this? How's this sound? My sister made a pact with me. She's like, if you go through with the divorce, how about, because she just broke up with her boyfriend. She's like, how about you and I stay single for a year, so this whole next year going into 2023, and then when you get out, a whole nother year of being single and just play around. And then after that, if you get into a relationship, I'm going to wait like a good 3-4 years before ever talking about marriage again.
No, I mean, I mean, again, you have so many other life things to experience that marriage is one of the most complex. Hang on, one of my dachshunds just decided to come up to my face. So, you know, it is something that takes an immense amount of emotional energy. And so until you have settled into the rest of the world, I mean, that's a tough row to hoe if you're also trying to find your way in the world. So.
And that's exactly what I explained to Ryan. I'm like, I need to give myself 100% right now. And how could I give? If I give myself 100%, then my marriage lacks. If I give my marriage 100%, then I'm not putting myself first when I need to. So it's like I can't do both. I'm awesome, but I'm not Superwoman. So,
you're, like I said, that is a very mature way of looking at it, because you're exactly right. Because you can't have it both ways. I mean, I know who I am. I know what I want. And so, you know, when I'm giving of myself for when Karina needs something, you know, I don't feel like I'm missing something in my life, because this is what I want. This is what my life is. But yeah, I mean, we got married when I was 21 years old. Karina had just turned 22. And I mean, it took us a lot of years to really establish kind of what we both wanted out of our marriage, what we wanted out of life. And fortunately for us, it was aligned with each other. But there were some years where it was very difficult. And so, I mean, this is a much better approach to it.
Mhm. Yeah. And it sometimes it really is all about timing, and it's also about how much one person wants to put in. And at this point, I feel like I can't put all of myself into it. And he's trying to talk me out of it. He's trying to tell me everything in the book to bring me back. And I am trying to stay firm in it. And his mother, oh my God, his mom has been very supportive of our relationship. And but I kind of feel like, and she has a biased opinion, I get that. If I was in her shoes, I'd probably feel the same way. But I feel like I have no support whenever it comes to her, whenever we fight or argue. And it's just he walks on water and I'm the fucked up one. And so I don't like that aspect, because in the last few days she's been sending me emails that's like, you need to look up the word integrity in the dictionary, because you need to learn to live, as an honest woman with integrity. Number one, you are a mess. Number two, Ryan deserves better. Number three, you need to learn how to talk to people. I'm like, whoa. I was very super respectful and did not pop off on her or anything. But I'm like, do you know that your son called me a whore? Because I just wanted to message someone that I used to be friends with on Jacob.
Okay.
So I'm all kinds of bitches, sluts, and whores right now. Okay, but he walks on water.
So,
not cool.
okay. So, you said that he lives at home with his mom to help take care of his nephew.
Mhm.
Was he living at home with his mom when the nephew came to live with her?
No, he was living with a girlfriend in Arkansas.
He was living with a girlfriend in Arkansas.
Mhm.
And he left the girlfriend to come back to live with mom?
Yeah, to help out with Noah.
Hmm.
And he said that when Noah turned 13, he was going to leave. Well, that kind of derailed when he lost his job because of me. He was working as a high school history teacher at a Christian high school. And they found out that he's in a relationship with me, and they didn't find that to be upstanding. And so they fired him. And for 8 months, they realized that it was wrong to fire him because of his relationship with me. So they kind of continued to pay him as if he'd still be an employee. And for those 8 months, he didn't go looking for another job. He just kind of laid down and died, until he had to get another job. And so Noah's 13 now, and his mom is writing his ass, like, you have a wife now. Like, you need a stable job. You need to get an apartment. And I write his ass, too. I'm like, you know how embarrassing it is? Someone that doesn't have a job. Like, people ride my ass, being like, when are you going to get an apartment? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very stressful. So I don't want to go somewhere where I feel like I'm not safe or stable.
I will just say that there are a lot of red flags in in the things you have just told me. Because he's kind of long in the tooth to be,
I know,
relying on mommy and mommy coming to his rescue, and him being unable to handle adversity. Yeah. So
I felt that way, and I feel it. And last night I'm like, oh, so you let your mom speak for you? He's like, no, I don't. And I'm like, well, she's just inserting herself a lot into our business.
Well,
and
I'm like, my mom talked to my wife like that, we'd have a real problem.
Just like,
so
not okay.
Right.
And so I'm like, your mom is like aiding into this whole me wanting to leave thing, and he's like, I'm fussing her, telling her not to email you anymore. And I'm like, well, it's a bigger point of like, what are you telling her? Are you telling her that I'm talking to somebody else and that's why I'm wanting to leave you? Or are you telling her the truth, which is I'm leaving you for me? And because she's thinking that I'm talking to somebody else. And I'm like, that's not the situation at all.
Right.
I'm not leaving this to get with someone else. I am leaving this because I find myself in a pattern. And I want to break free of that pattern before I get out. Like, I want to get out, and I don't want the reason why I want a relationship because I feel like I need a man's love to make me whole. I want to feel like a whole person, and if I do choose to get in a relationship, it's because I enjoy that person's company, not because I feel like I need them to fill some void. And they don't understand that. They're just kind of like, well, you said you love me forever, and I'm like,
75% of marriages need to understand the concept of what you just said, is that, like, again, if my wife came to me and said, this just isn't working, I don't feel like a whole person, I would be devastated, obviously, but I want my wife to be happy. Like, that's the whole point of being married is, I want to assist her in being happy. And if me and the way that I am does not cause happiness, I'm not going to remake myself into a new person for somebody else. And so if who I am is not something that makes you happy, I don't want to be married to somebody who isn't happy with me. Like, that's, I guess, kind of the other thing is, like, have some self-respect, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if she's saying, look, this isn't going to work, I'm not going to be happy, is that, like, you just want her to stay for the sake of staying?
Right. And
Right.
It's not like it doesn't make me happy. We have great conversations. We're always laughing. Like, we're like playful puppies, but at the same token, I'm always looking back on what could have been if I had that freedom to, do run around and be free to live my life. So it's kind of like always wondering what the other path had for me. I can't be fully happy if I'm always just kind of like, oh, well, I wonder what could have been if I wasn't married and could go do that.
Well, and he's calling you a whore, too. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's a bad fact. Just throw that out there. We say things in the heat of the moment. I get that, but over text, you have a few or messaging, and I don't know, man. You got to calm yourself down. That's not a good sign that you're not even living together. And
he gets mad. Whenever he gets mad, his communication is really bad. Whenever he gets upset, and I'm like, and I called him out on it. I call him out on it every single time, and I'm like, I will not let you speak to me like that. I'm like, you know that that's a trigger. My mom used to say shit like that to me, and what scares me even more is I've been listening to podcasts that's on my tablet, and so I've been looking really, really into mental health podcasts and relationship therapy podcasts, and the more and more I listen to it, the more I feel like I'm in an issue-based relationship, which means that I feel like I attract what's familiar, and Ryan says this one thing to me, and I've never told him that it gets on my nerves because my mother used to tell me this, and when I tell you verbatim, it's creepy. It's, you are my heart, and I can't live without my heart. My mother used to tell me this, and he says it to me, and it freaks me out.
Yeah. Again, if my wife were to die, I would be devastated, but I would survive. She's the mother of my children, so yeah, like I said, it would be horrific.
Right.
But I'm not gonna off myself because my wife passed away. Again, so here's my thing, okay? And this is across the board. It has nothing to do with you specifically. I'm always wary of the people that are writing things to somebody in prison, regardless, because especially a single dude or, who, so I mean, because I look at it this way, okay? Let's say, you're at home on a Friday night and you're like, this looks like a really good movie, and you watch the movie. Your first inclination is, I want to write this person a letter and express a whole bunch of stuff to them. Like, that's not something that normal people do. Now, a letter saying, oh, hey, just wanted to let you know, watch the movie, really sorry what happened.
Yeah,
hope
I get
your
that
life,
a lot.
right, hope things go well for you in the future.
Mm.
But, the Ryans of the world always concern me when you go looking for love in the Department of Corrections.
Yes, it
Because
is worrisome.
because you literally are a captive audience.
Yes, and I get so much mail from people and emails, and the majority is exactly what you said. Like, watch the movie. I want you to know I hope you have a great life when you get out.
Yeah.
That's the majority. But it never fails.
That I understand.
Right, but it never fails. Even if it might come across that way at first, I've had both ends of the spectrum. I've had people that just wanted a platonic friendship, and then people that it grew to be more. And I think it is I'm like and I hate to call myself this, but I'm like a shiny object that oh my God, you're in a sense infamous. And I think that intrigues people sometimes.
Sure it does. And
then when I show them, like, I'm not just a character, like I'm an actual person, and this is what actually happened to me, I think it becomes like they know something about me that nobody else does, like that hasn't been shown on TV, so it makes it a little more intimate. And then, of course, men, they want to protect. So there's that element of like, oh, the white knight syndrome. And I'm like, hey, dude, listen, I am not the same girl like I was like 7 years ago.
Right.
That is so gone now.
Right.
I don't need saving. I'm good.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of my point is that, the kind of people that think, oh, she would be cool to hook up with. I mean, one, that's just weird. And two, you are celebrity. And so, I was trying to explain to my son that, just because somebody is something, or they've achieved something, doesn't mean they deserve your respect.
Right.
Because yesterday was Veterans Day, and so he made a comment about veterans. And I said, no, I mean, understand, we appreciate that people have served their country. But I said, just because somebody has served their country doesn't mean that you need to respect them, because they could be a complete piece of shit. I mean, the governor of Missouri was a Rhodes Scholar and a Navy SEAL, and he ended up having to resign because he duct taped a woman to his workout set and sexually assaulted her. And now he tried to run for Senate, and his wife ended up leaving him and filed for divorce, saying he was beating her and the kids. And so I mean, this guy has achieved two of the most difficult things in the world to achieve, a Rhodes Scholarship and a Navy SEAL. And he's a piece of shit. Like, I don't respect people just because they are something. I respect them because they've earned it. And, it's kind of the same thing. Like, people want to know you because you are a shiny object. Hell, I get it. When certain people figure out who I am, like, their fucking face like almost explodes. They're so excited to talk to me, and it's so like
weird.
It's like, you guys realize, like, I don't want to just sit here and chat about this for the next hour about, I mean, part of the reason that I didn't reach out to you for a while was just because it took me a while to sort through all of the shit that I went through too. And I mean, again, I'm not comparing what you went through to what I went through, but I live in a high stress world. I mean, I deal with other people's trauma all the time. However, I can't even still quantify the amount of trauma that I experienced through your case because, I mean, I got to come in and tell you that your name was spelled wrong and that you were a different age than you thought you were and tell you who your dad really was. And I mean, it took me several years to really like come to terms because when it was happening, I didn't have time to deal with it. It was just one thing after another, after another, after another. And then when the plea was done, like all of the interviews and like it was still a big whirlwind. And then it was done, and it was like, I started having, nightmares and things, and it was just like, okay, so I ended up having to go to counseling, and it's, I mean, in my line of work, it's a good thing because, like I said, I mean, your case is a very extreme example, but I mean, I deal with other people's trauma all day. I mean, it is extremely.
That weighs on a person, and
sure.
There's no way that anyone in your line of work can leave a case without having some part of that case stay with them. And so like you had to go dive into my case and my life, and you know everything and probably much more than I know because I wasn't flipping through those pages. I don't know what all is in photographs. Like I was sheltered in a lot, and I appreciate a lot of that. That you weren't just like, okay, let me show you everything, how fucked up your mom was, how fucked up your life is. Because in some way, I still feel a little sheltered from that, and it saved me from further traumatizing me. So I think you took a lot of the brunt of that. I mean, and I appreciate it so much. Like I tell everybody that I'm like, I was blessed to be put in the hands of someone that really does have a heart and cares about people and not just labels them as a case. And I know that did take a huge toll on you. One of the classes that we teach here, it's called ICDC, and it's Impact of Crime on Victims. And that was one of the questions. It's like, your case goes beyond the victim. And so who are the people that it can impact? And someone put, like, police and attorneys. And they're like, why the fuck would you put attorneys and shit? Like, that's their job. And I'm like, it's not just a job. People are, these lawyers are taking these cases back to their homes, to their families, and so it just goes beyond what you might think. So I am so sorry for what you went through, and like all of those interviews and stuff like that, I didn't enjoy it. I can tell you that. I didn't want to be in the public eye. I did a lot of it because I wanted to help other people know about what my mom had, because had I known, I probably would not have made the same choices that I made.
Right.
And so it's just Munchausen by proxy wasn't something people talked about back then.
Oh,
and now
no.
it's mainstream media. It's everywhere.
Right.
And I think that is essentially because of me. And I don't want to sound like grandiose or anything.
No, you're right. Well, and also, I mean, and I appreciate everything that you're saying. I really do. I mean, again, in my line of work, we don't get paid very well. We don't get a lot of respect. We're the lawyers that everybody loves to dismiss, which is fine, because that's a lot of the reasons I do the job that I do is because I am that person. So, I mean, I freely take on all of the things. Part of that is I just wanted you to understand why I haven't really been reaching out to you, because and on the same token, I also wanted to give you as much space as humanly possible, because you have had somebody telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to do it your entire life, and the last thing you needed was anybody else getting involved. And that's why with the whole thing with Ryan, Christy's been kind of keeping me up to speed, and it was just like, well, these are my thoughts, but until you wanted to speak to me about it, I wasn't going to get involved because, again, my advice is just advice, but on the same token, as you said, everybody has to learn at their own pace and in their own way. And, as a parent, it's so hard because, like, my oldest is at college now. It's her first semester of college, and it's so different not having her here all the time. And, I mean, she calls us every day, and she still asks us our thoughts and stuff, but it's so much different because, like, now I don't get a say anymore, really. And that's fine. It's just, that's kind of what I wanted for you, was just, okay, now if you want advice, I'm always happy to give it, but I didn't want you having to feel like you needed to explain anything to me. So, and I think what I'm hearing from now is you have definitely sorted out a lot of things, and you seem to be understanding a lot of life lessons that I know people that are in their 60s that still don't understand those life lessons. So that is very, very positive that you're really starting to understand these big overarching concepps that a lot of people twice your age still don't get.
Well, that hasn't been easy for sure.
No.
I think I'm just starting to settle into adulthood.
Good.
For the last 7 years or so, it still felt like I was just a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm thinking things that are the right frame of thinking. And
Good.
I share a lot of this in the documentary that you just filmed for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch it, you're going to see me confess some things. I've made some bad choices in the last, couple years. I did try drugs in here. I always struggled with addiction, even back when I was with my mom. And unfortunately, that demon followed me in here. I've been 3 years clean, and
Good.
so I've been coping with stress and anxiety and loss and grief in a different way now than just taking the easy way to numb myself, so I don't do that anymore.
Good.
I also kind of open up about things that I don't even think I told you about going through the case. So it might come as a little bit of a shock, but I think by exposing me in my entirety, I don't want to leave prison with still all these dark secrets. I want to be free of all the secrets, and I don't want anybody to be like, well, why didn't you just, no, I don't want to hear that ever again, because I feel like I just want to leave it out all on the table and be like, okay, now you guys have dove into my life. You guys know everything. So could I please just live my life now? I don't want to be shackled to the past forever. That's not what I want. And so that's why I'm doing this. And I'm so happy that, I'm so happy you participated, because I think what you went through is very powerful. And it's not what I went through. It's not what my parents went through. It's your unique own experience. And I think it'll be powerful for people to see that in a different perspective than it's ever been shown before.
I know.
I will tell you, I'm done after this. I'm so done.
Yeah.
I might write a book, but I am done. I'm not doing this anymore.
It took a few weeks of soul searching to determine whether I was going to do it or not. And I talked with Christy, and she had told me what you had said, and that was, Karina said sort of the same thing you just said, which was, at some point it does matter what each one of us went through, because it isn't, the crime, quote unquote, itself is only a small part of everything that happened, and people need to understand the lead up and what happened after to really understand everything that you went through. And so, I mean, I'm glad I did it. I suspect I will watch it just like I did. I watched the documentary one time. It took me 2 sessions to get through because I got about halfway through and had to stop.
I haven't seen anything. I think I seen my Dr. Phil episode, and that is it. Because it's like I don't get Hulu, I don't get Netflix, I don't get HBO.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the hype because I don't get that access in here. And so when people want my autograph, I don't get it. It blows my mind. I think it's stupid. But I'll be watching it because I think it'll be on Lifetime, and we do get Lifetime to watch. So.
Well, what I'll tell you is Aaron did such a good job. Like I said, I got about halfway through it, and I had to stop. Like, it was, at the time that it came out, like, it was still too much for me to take in all at one time. Mm-hmm. So that was how powerful of a job she did.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Well, I think she wants to be there the day I get released, so I get out on December 28th of next year. I think Mom and Dad want to rent an Airbnb that's in Marceline, Missouri, so we can stay there for a few nights. They want to do like this Christmas where we have a Christmas tree and matching pajamas.
Well, you want to know what the ironic thing is if I remember my history and geography correctly, Marceline, Missouri is the birthplace of Walt Disney.
It is. You're right.
So that is ironic that they're choosing Marceline, Missouri, because yeah.
But it's a nice little log cabin. It's called Circle Lodge, and it looks like a nice little spot. Now I do have a question before I let you go, but this is just out of curiosity. So I guess Nick is going through an appeal process, and a couple months ago, it was the weirdest thing. His public defender sent me a permission, like a what do you call that? Just so I can give my permission, so they can examine the my old digital camera that was in my backpack. They said that she said that apparently the SD card, they want the SD card because apparently it was never looked at. Okay. And I sent her a letter back, and I said, it's not my possession anymore. That's in the hands of Greene County. So I really don't think I need to give you permission. Okay. So I'll explain to you what's going on. So what he's doing is, as far as I know, is what's called a PCR. His appeals have already run, and so a PCR is a separate entity of the law. And so what PCR stands for is post-conviction relief. Okay. And this would have been explained to you at your plea, but I suspect that the Supreme Court has actually changed the procedure because they realize nobody's paying any attention during the plea to anything because of all the emotion. So within 180 days of your sentencing, you can file for post-conviction relief. Now, in Nick's case, because he had a trial, he has 90 days from the date of the mandate of the Court of Appeals, whichever, whether it's the Southern District or the Supreme Court, to file this. And so there's 3 reasons you can PCR somebody, but the main reason that you PCR is because of ineffective assistance of counsel. And so Nick has alleged that his attorneys failed to provide adequate assistance of counsel to him, and that is what led to his ultimate conviction. And had they done these things, his result in his trial would have been different. It is, as a trial attorney, it is something that we pretty much expect to have happen, especially if you lose a first-degree murder trial and your client gets life without parole. You pretty much know you're going to get PCR'd. So it's just something that is done as a matter of course in
in cases like that. And so what it sounds like is that his PCR attorney is alleging that there was evidence that they didn't view that may potentially have affected the outcome of this case, and that's why they want to see the SD card, is to see if there was some smoking gun that Dwayne didn't properly analyze. 98% of these PCRs they're Hail Marys, they're useless, they don't really come with anything. Nick's is most likely going to be the same way. Dwayne Perry is a very good attorney. He is very thorough, so I don't for one second believe that Dwayne missed anything. There really wasn't much of a defense to begin with. So
did I tell you that he wrote me after he got sent to prison and he settled in prison? He sent me 2 letters.
Interesting.
Still just as fucking crazy as ever. The first letter, it was all in like different colors, and each color had factual feelings, thoughts, and so each paragraph was in a different color. Still talking about the same shit. We're soulmates, and he wants me back, but he feels angry at me, and then just some crazy ass bullshit, And at that time I was with Ken, my ex-fiance, and
right.
I asked Ken, I'm like, listen, this has been like 4 years, and I feel like I need closure. Would you be okay with me writing a closure letter? He said, if you want to and you feel like that's what you need to do, then okay. And so I wrote him, and I said, it's been 4 years. I kind of felt like this was going to come at some point. I want you to know that I am, sorry that I got you into this mess. I take accountability. That's why I went back to court on your behalf, is because I wanted to take the stand and tell the truth. It wasn't for some grand gesture of love. It was accountability.
Right.
And I said, I hope that you find a purpose for your life in prison. Try to be kind to the people around you, because this is going to be your new life. And so, make friends where you can, and just try to find some peace with it. And I sent him that. I get another letter back, and it's a story, a whole drawn-out story about, it's a metaphor in a sense. He was talking about this kitten, that me and Ken adopted a kitten. And then the kitten started to climb the walls and fuck up the furniture. And so Ken didn't want the kitten anymore. And so we abandoned this kitten in an alleyway. And it was all a metaphor for he feels like I abandoned him. I never wrote back. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not wanting to keep this up or anything.
No. No. Yeah. No, that's, yeah.
Ooh.
Well.
And then all his little groupie girlfriends, just like I've got groupie boyfriends, his little groupie girlfriends find me on JPay, send me emails, and one girl named Shamara, and she put her last name as his own. So it came up on my tablet, Shamara Godejohn, and I'm like, what the hell? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm Nick's new girlfriend, but as soon as they find out that he's batshit crazy, they all come to me like, I'm so sorry, like, I understand what you went through. I'm like, did you think anything different? I mean, you went into this knowing how crazy he is. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, he traveled from Wisconsin to Missouri to kill somebody. Like, that should have been your first indication that he's got something wrong with him.
I know, but... Yeah.
No, it's... Well, I mean... and this was kind of the hope that I had, because the plea and the ultimate outcome, in 15 years of practice, hands down the most difficult decision I've ever had to come to as a lawyer. Like what was the right outcome for you? Because, again, it was your decision, but I also understand as a professional that my opinion matters. And so, Clayton and I spend a lot of time going back and forth about our options and what we thought we could achieve. And ultimately, though, my hope was that this was what would come out of this, is that this time would give you the ability to focus on yourself and understanding what you need and what you want. Because, yeah, you and Nick were both in terrible mental and psychological positions at the time that all this went down. I mean, there's really no other person on the planet that can say they understand what you went through. Because, I have talked with psychologists, neuropsychologists, forensic psychologists across the country on other cases, and even they are still blown away by some of the things they saw in your case, just watching and reading it. And, this was always kind of the thing, is in my line of work, most of my clients never really get better, quote unquote. I see the same people over and over and over again, and they just never seem to get better. They never seem to improve. And it's, I have another client right now who is another young lady who is, over the last 4 years that I've been representing her, she's finally starting to get the help that she needs. She's finally working. And it's like, for me, that is what I do my job for, is to help someone put a stop to the things that are making their life negative and help them find a way to be positive, or at least give them the opportunity to do that. So it is very heartwarming for me to hear all of these things that you're saying, because you have taken all of these horrific things that have happened and used them to make yourself a stronger person, as opposed to like what Nick is doing, which is using them to continue to victim blame himself.
Yeah.
I'm the victim here. Nobody cared about me. It's like, well, Nick, you did have a role to play in this too. So you have to understand there is some responsibility on your part, but you can't just sit in the moment where all of this went down. Like, you have to understand that it happened, and you have to move forward. And what do you do to not end up back in that place again?
Right.
So
I think he's just in a mindset where it's complacent. At least I was able to accept that I had issues that I needed to work on. I think he has gotten to that place where he accepts that. And acceptance is like the first step. So once you realize that, hey, I do need some help, then you can further on to get the help you need. I did get to talk to Dr. Fabian, by the way.
Oh, John.
Yes.
He is a hoot.
I got to talk to him on a recorded call for the documentary, and they're going to be playing a little bit of it. He was great to talk to. I did, at that time, it was about a week before I was supposed to get married. So, he wanted to possibly talk with Ryan, but there was some issues going on between the filmmakers and stuff like that, with some coordinating issues. But talking to him, I was very honest about just kind of being hopeful for the future. I think a lot of people, either they expect me to just lay down and die or curl up in a ball plucking my own hair and eating it, and I'm not going to do that. I accept that I had been through a lot, but I am optimistic, and even if people tell me you will never be normal, I get this so often, you will never be normal. Well, what's normal anyway?
That's what I was just going to say. What the fuck is normal?
Yeah,
what is normal?
What is normal? I can only do my normal.
Right.
And so I will be, my normal is a goal of mine.
Good. Again, that is the absolute right perspective, because there is no such thing as normal. Everybody who says that they're normal is lying to you, and they are probably living a life that they are not truly happy with, because Your normal is whatever it is you want it to be. And people who feel like they have to live a certain way because it's the way you're supposed to live, no, it's not. The way you're supposed to live is the way that you feel fulfilled and happy. And if you don't live that way, then you're just missing out.
Right.
So, yeah, no, that is, I, again, totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you
Okay.
so much for all of your
Course.
life lessons. I
Of
appreciate
course.
you talking to me. And it was
Sure.
good to catch up with you.
Yeah, you too. Absolutely. If you want, I anticipate that I will also be there.
Okay,
Next year.
absolutely. I do. I really want
Okay.
you to be there. It's going to be great.
Okay. All right. I
All
think I
right.
can make that happen. All right.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving, and
All right.
I
You
will
too.
keep in touch.
Okay.